Planning poker is basically, as I mentioned, is an estimation technique, okay, or is a way of doing estimation for the story points. Whenever we have to give story point estimation to user stories, to task, to features, okay, the technique, the method which has been utilized or method which has been used to estimate them is a planning poker. Okay, there are a lot of planning poker cards, online tools which have been available. They are free in nature. If any BA has those physical cards, or if any Scrum Master has the physical cards, they could use that physical cards also. So they basically just like tash ke patte. Okay, there are cards of the planning poker, okay, which has this numbers mentioned. Like for one, we have one card, two, three, 5. These are the numbers which have been mentioned in that card. Okay, the numbers which we have to assign to the user stories.
So ये numbers are based on that
Fibonacci series, yes. Because story point is being given based on the Fibonacci series. So if we say it's like we have to give story point estimation, it would always be following this pattern: 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 8. Okay. Okay. So now problem statement comes over here that if you have multiple team members, then how would you be estimating a task with taking all of their pointers into consideration? So let's take an example of the sign up story. This is basically a task, a feature of a sign up that is a one-step form. Okay. The user story which we have right now, or which has been the user story which we have right now by the business analyst, is completely been detailed. So that is, a user story now has all the validations, all the steps, and everything that has been related to this sign up form, feature. Okay. Now what happens in a meeting when all of the team members comes together? Okay, so everyone in the team who would be developing the functionality or who is working on the product would be coming together, and then they would be estimating using the method of planning poker, so that one common decision can be made up of how to estimate or what to be estimated to this user's functionality. So usually now the team has, or everyone in the team usually relies on this online tool itself, because people doesn't have those poker cards. So in that case, this is a URL which has been available. Let me invite you to. So I'm adding the link in the group, in the chat window. Open that. Okay. So now what happens is, whenever, in a meeting, as a product owner and as a business analyst, as you would be having the maximum understanding of a functionality and you have worked on detailing that functionality out, so you would be giving that understanding to complete team that the sign up, we need to work upon the sign up form. This is how the sign up form flow would be working along. These are the validations which will be working upon. This is a UI UX. Everything needs to be discussed and explained to the team members. Okay, if the team member have any questions related to that functionality or features, they would be cross questioning, or they would be asking the business analyst or the product owner. Okay, and business analyst and the product owner will help in answering all of their questions. Now, once all of their questions have been answered well, probably then the Scrum Master asks team members to rate or to vote. Okay. So what they will ask is, whatever you as an individual feel like is this story would be taking this much of time. Okay, vote according to you. So do the voting. Let's all three do the voting. Okay, I'm talking about the sign up functionality with one-step form, that it would be having first name, last name, email ID, and password field. Okay, nothing else. And then there would be a create now button. Once user will be clicking on the create now button, his account would be created. The basic validations would be available on email field and the password field. Okay, nothing. Okay. Now it is the individual team preferences, how they personally or internally map these story points. Okay. Your Scrum will never guide you ki you should be considering 0 as 1, 1 as 2 to 3 hours of task, 2 story point as 4 to 5 hours of task, or 1 to 2 days of task. It is your internal team call, because according to the Scrum guide, this estimation, the story point has always been, referring to the complexity. You who is considering them as hours or in time. So basically you say your Scrum Master has guided you that like over here, let I am your Scrum Master. So basically I guided you that if you feel your story is of 2 to 4 hours, rate it as 1 story point. Okay. If you feel your story is from 1 to 2 days, give it as 2 story point. If you feel your story is from 3 to 5 days, give it as 3 basically this has been guided by Scrum Master either in the same meeting session itself, or he can guide prior also. Definitely before estimating the story, Scrum Master would be guiding the team members that this is the technique, or this is the mapping we are considering for our product. So map, or estimate accordingly.
But one question again I have, if there are 10 BAs in a team, okay?
If there are
10 BAs in a team,
it never happens.
never.
No, it never happens.
Maximum 1 2.
Maximum 1 or 2. Every project usually has only 1 or maximum 2 BAs in case the project length is complex enough.
Okay. So यहाँ पे वोट कौन कौन लोग, ये जो 4 लोग है वो करेंगे, राइट? स्क्रम मास्टर, बीए, टेक लीड, टेक आर्किटेक्ट, ये लोग वोट करेंगे.
TATLs कर सकते हैं, स्क्रम मास्टर और BA नहीं करता. They are been available in the meetings, but they do not provide estimations.
Okay. तो ये कौन वोट करता है स्टोरी इसमें?
Development team जिनको कोड करना है. It is not required. Even if your development team is consist of 2 members, still you will be using the planning poker and in the same way.
Okay. So my question goes like this कि जैसा आपने वहाँ पे अभी लिखा कि can you open that page कि इसको एक फीचर को 2 to 4 hours लग रहा है, then you would be giving 1 story point.
Yes.
If there are okay. So जैसे मान लीजिए कि एक फीचर है, जैसा हमारा ही एग्जांपल लेते हैं. So every developer now knows कि यार ये काम इतने टाइम रेंज में तो हो ही जाता है, and every development team picks up the same card. तो then जैसे उन्होंने मान लीजिए कि अभी अगर इनको लग रहा है कि ये 1 to 2 days में हो जाएगा फॉर्म वाला चीज, सो दे आर एवरीबॉडी इज पिकिंग द कार्ड नंबर 2.
ओके.
तो इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
It's okay now.
So don't you think
let's
that
proceed one by one. Let's proceed one
ठीक.
by one. So for now, what I have asked you is basically you've understood the scenario where you have suppose only 2 developers. Okay. And now this estimation is majorly been given because they wanted to give equal opportunities to all the developers who are been being part of the session or who would be working on the product. Okay. So suppose there are 2 developers, you and Pranav. Okay, and I'm the TL of the product. Okay, I've explained this feature, and I'm the BA also. I've explained this feature. Now I have asked you all to vote. Okay, what do you feel in the sign up form? That is a 1-step form with 4 fields: first name, last name, email ID, and password. With the create now button, how much time will it take? Rate it now. Estimate it now. Basically, you can see whoever will be done voted out. It gets highlighted. Yeah. Pranav, we are waiting for your vote, or we're waiting for your estimate. Done. So basically now all 3 of us have estimated. I'll do reveal cards. Okay. So now what happened is this application has already taken out the average of the estimation.
Pranav's is not showing, I think.
Because only the Pranav's vote was 3.
Okay. So जिनका कॉमन आता है ज्यादा लोगों को उनको शो
एवरेज दिखा देता है, जिसकी मैक्सिमम इश्यूज होते हैं उसका, जिसका मैक्सिमम जो स्टोरी पॉइंट का मैक्सिमम टाइम आता है ना, उसको दिखा देता है. जैसे let's do one thing. Abhishek vote for 2, Pranav vote for 3. In this case, all 3 of us has voted differently. So basically, it showed all 3 of them.
Correct. But average 2 आया उनका.
That doesn't matter. Let's do one thing. Abhishek, you vote for 2 and Pranav vote for 5. Okay? Ignore the average one. So now basically what happened over here is, suppose for the story I have discussed upon, it can happen that everyone has built a separate understanding or different understanding related to that user story. Okay, suppose I as a TL knows that okay, it is a static functionality, it is a basic functionality which has been available in all the applications. Okay, and we can reuse this functionality from any application, and it might not take more than 1 day, or it might not take more than 3 to 4 hours. Abhishek, you felt that though it is a basic one, but still it would be needing 1 to 2 days to implement it, cross verify it, unit test it, and deliver it. Okay, while Pranav might have an understanding that we would be needing completely custom form, okay, where all those validations are being configurable and manageable from the admins, that if in future, if he wanted to change any validations or add any new field into the sign up form, then he could do that. Okay, so based on that understanding, he gave that 5 estimation. What happens is there is a huge difference in all 3 of our estimations. Then the Scrum Master and the product owner, the Scrum Master basically questions the one who has less estimate and who has given the maximum estimate. That what was your understanding why you have given 1, and what was your understanding why you have given 5 as an estimate. It is to identify, is everyone in the team or is both of them been aligned to the same understanding or not. If yes, then why they individually feels like one feels it is a task of only 2 to 3 hours, while the other feels it may take 3 to 5 days.
अगर किसी को आते ही नहीं तो so he might think, I might take more time to develop this feature rather than if one is much more well versed with this field, so he would say यार ये तो एक दिन में
Definitely.
Then,
so there are multiple reasons. One is, even if someone is not experienced enough, then instead of he could have instead of 3 to 4 hours, he could have expected that I could take 1 to 2 days. Okay, but a person feels it as a 3-hour job and a person feels it is a 4 to 5 days job. There is a huge difference in understanding. Okay, and that's why there is a TA and TLs always available in these calls, just to make sure that anything like this can be rectified by the team members by them immediately. Okay, and it will happen very frequently whenever you will be running these meetings. Okay, that you would be finding such a difference in your team estimations that your Scrum Master and as a business analyst or product owner, you have to question that why did you felt as 1, why did you felt as 5. Now suppose both of those parties have shared their opinion, like as I gave it as 1 estimate, I've mentioned that I've thought it is a straightforward form and reusable, and it has been basically available also, so there's nothing much we have to do it. Okay, while Pranav mentioned that he felt that there would be a complete configuration that was be available and they need to work on those configuration form and delivery. And as a BA, I corrected Pranav that no, this is not what we needed. We only need a basic form, okay, with these 4 fields and the fixed validation. Those validations will not be updated in future, and if they will be, those efforts would be done by the development team. It is not something which has been configurable or can be manageable. Okay, now this helped Pranav in clearing his understanding gap wherever he was having. So now once his doubts, once his queries have been cleared, probably I'll ask team again to vote now. Okay, so now I have asked team again to vote now, and then I'll see what is the revised estimations which have came up. Okay, and the one estimation which is very common or which has been mostly provided by everyone, probably that we usually consider. And if it is a higher level estimate, then definitely that. Okay, so now what this method basically helped us in understanding, firstly, it gave equal opportunity to every developer to estimate what they felt by their own. Okay, because before I have estimated, like till the time Pranav's card has been revealed, I was not been aware about what he is estimating. You were not been aware about what he's estimating, so you are not influencing his decision of estimation. You are giving him, every team member has been given equal opportunity to estimate by what they want, what they feel like. Okay, if there is a huge, if there is an understanding gap in between team members in understanding any functionality, then it could be clearly understood, or it could be clearly identified, and it would be resolved at the same moment by the estimations you would be giving up. A BA, Scrum Master can identify that there is a gap in understanding. Okay, and then thirdly, by mutual decision, or we come up with a conclusion, or we come up with a estimation that needs to be picked up for the story, this feature. It's like tomorrow, if because in this meeting we don't know whether this feature would be developed by Abhishek or whether this feature would be developed by Pranav. Now with this planning poker technique and together estimations, we have now identified that okay, ideally this feature will now be taking 2 days, around 1 to 2 days of effort. So now, irrespective of whether this feature could be done by Pranav or Abhishek, the amount of time or delivery what has been expected is 1 to 2 days. Okay, so it's not like just by the consideration of seniors of how much fluently a senior can do that estimations, we are considering those time and effort, or we are ignoring the others' effort. Did you understand? So this is the same procedure which has been which happened for each and every user story, each and every feature functionality which has been part of a product. That's why not everything could be done in one meeting. They are being the meetings are broken in silos. Different meetings have been conducted regularly so that the team can estimate them.
How much time does this
This is a regular process.
require?
Basically, these kind of estimations are usually done in sprint planning meeting. Okay, so that's why because you have already shared the high level estimations with your client at the start. Okay, and these are the depth level estimations. So you basically goes ahead with in each sprint. Basically, you conduct those meetings with your team member, and for the next set of deliverables, what you want your team to deliver, you basically discuss those user story, discuss those features, task with the team members, and then ask them to estimate it. Usually we try that in one call, we usually takes more than around 5 to 10 stories itself, because more than that, now it gets overwhelming for the team because they have to understand that functionality also before estimating. Okay. So if the team is huge enough and there are more number of features, tasks which we are taking up in a sprint, probably we try to have this meeting in 2 to 3 different sections or 2 to 3 different batches so that the team member can understand them properly. Because think about it, that you are planning to have 20 features or 30 features in a sprint. Okay, and you at the same moment only you are discussing all those 30 features. Then after a point around 5, 10, 15, probably the team member reaches towards that saturation level where their brain stops working. So that's why and it takes time also, when we because it's just not like fatafat se estimation de do and let's move to the next story. No, until and unless we all reaches to a common conclusion of how much story point this story or this feature should have, probably I will not be moving ahead to the next story. So it sometimes, and before even estimating them, the process of explaining that feature and the Q&As is also takes place. So sometimes the story gets wrapped up in 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes if it is a complex story, it takes 15 to 20 minutes to 15 minutes too. Okay. Now imagine if there are 5 or 6 big stories, probably it takes an hour or 1.5 hours just in discussing those 6 stories. Okay, so that's why we usually and that's a smartness of a scrum master also. Basically this complete planning of the sessions is being owned by a scrum master. Okay, of how actively he decides to conduct those sprint planning meetings or those internal meetings so that he can get the estimations from the team prior itself. So that is under the Scrum Master ownership. Any doubts so far in how to use planning poker, why it is being used, what value does it deliver? Clear? Sorted? So in the same, just like what we did, basically whenever you would be executing and running your sprint planning sessions or the meetings, estimation meetings with your team members, you would be proceeding in the same manner. That you would be opening that online free tool of planning poker, start the game, share its link with everyone in the team member, discuss a feature, discuss the whatever feature you need to estimate, then ask your team members to estimate, and then reveal the cards to discuss the estimations. Do this activity continuously unless you get the majority of the common consensus from the team members. Till the time you will be able to see the difference between 2 and 5, you have to do this activity regular. Even if 10 people if you have 10 people in the team, 8 people says it is a 2-story point and 1 people say or 2 people say it is a 5-story point. You have to keep doing this activity again and again, keep resolving their conflicts, keep resolving their understanding until unless we have maximum number of, or firstly decrease the gap between the team members, secondly maximum aligned towards that. Okay, because in this case also there was maximum who have been going ahead with the 2, but we cannot ignore the 2 people who mentioned that it is not just a 1 to 2 days work, it is around 5 days work. We cannot just ignore them. So we have to make sure that they are being also aligned with the fact that yes, it is a 2-story point task. Okay, and over here probably your technical lead and technical architect plays a very important role in guiding. If they feels there is any challenge in the technical if they understand the functionality well but they feels in technically implementing the solution there could be a challenge, then your TATL basically helps them in guiding that this is how you can do, this is how we can avoid it, and that is the best right approach or other.